I'd like to first say that I'm very sorry for the family. I was prepared to give my life, and when I set out to do what I felt needed to be done and what I still feel strongly about, it was my hope that I would run into an officer that had a long string of complaints for brutality and marks on his record or her record. That was my hope. I had no way of counting on that happening. It was pure luck, much in way, or it was pure random, purely random, much in the way that the cowardly officers often brutalize and murder the citizens. It's purely random. They don't seem to have any plan. It just seems to be random. But from everything that I've seen and heard, I killed a good man, and that's the hardest thing that I've ever done, as it should be. Taking a life should be hard, should be the hardest thing you ever do. What the people of the United States, and often the state of Washington, the city of Seattle, are dealing with are people that take lives on a regular basis, it seems. And these are the people that we hire to protect us. They're not drafted. They're not pulled into service. And we're trying to figure out how to deal with that. But I definitely, I saw Mr. Britton's son on the television. I was sitting in my room, or my cell, and I heard him talk. He was at a function that was for kids of fallen officers or something like that. It was like a day camp, and he just seemed like a great little kid, just a super kid. And I hadn't planned on crying for any police officers. And the reason I hadn't planned on crying for any police officers or their family is because there's such a long line of citizens that have been murdered by the police. Such a long line. I've got to get in line. The police have to get in line. Where do I begin? Where do we as the people begin to do our crying? The one thing that the Constitution, which I feel is a fantastic document that we hold dear in our country so that we can figure out what to do with our lives and how to run our country. The one thing it doesn't do is come with a set of instructions. It doesn't tell us how to handle police that turn on us. Whenever you see police brutality, you usually see, the couple of folks that are beating on a civilian that you call civilian, I call citizens. You call civilian so that it takes power away from the people. When you call them civilians, a civilian is a person that doesn't have any rights or freedom or often the ability to move to or from. These are people that are in wartime that are occupied by an opposing force. That's what a civilian is. A citizen has rights and a lot of other freedoms. Where was I going, Carl? What was I talking about? What? Citizenship. Yeah, there's, without any instructions, we have to find our own way. And it doesn't tell you what to do when the system that you've devised doesn't work anymore. We have a system that is set up so that the police are supposed to monitor themselves. I mean, how did we let that get by? They're not doing a real good job. We've got a prosecutor system that is dependent on the police, and they don't want to help us out. They're dependent on the police. There's a big weight on the side of the police when it comes time to do justice often. That's my opinion. So when the system seems to break down, and what do? We march, and we protest, and we form groups. And the police scowl at us on the sides of the road and talk about the overtime they're getting. If you stand close enough to them, you can hear them. And they have no plan on listening to 1,000 or 10,000 people marching for police to stop their brutality. And when you see a couple of police officers brutalizing or murdering someone, there's always a few, maybe half a dozen of their friends around them. And they're not going to tell on their buddies. They're not crossing the blue line. That doesn't happen too often. When it does happen, that officer, well, he's got to watch his or her back. One of the few things we got going for us is that it seems to be a pure police issue, a blue issue. Because there's black police officers that are doing some brutalizing. There's white police officers, there's Hispanic police officers, there's female police officers. They're all happy to brutalize. So at least we don't have to worry about that. But of course now, police want to change their colors. They want to go from blue to black. They want to change in their uniforms because black is more intimidating, as if their behavior is not intimidating enough. I never wanted to hurt anybody's family and take their loved ones away. But this is a group of people. If you go to France and you want to get something done, and you speak English, they're not going to understand you. They're not going to talk to you unless you speak French. Same thing if you go to Germany. Well, if you've got a group of people that speak violence and brutality, they're not going to pay attention unless you can speak their language. And that's violence, that's brutality. They listen to you then. When they've got to stand in line and turn on their flashy lights and bury one of their own, they listen. Maybe not much, but they do listen. And what a shame what a shame it is that it's become to that, that it's come to that. After we pay you $100,000 a year to protect us. After all your insurance is taken care of, and all your vision and your health care and you know, some people think the killing of a police officer is a horrible, serious crime. And I used to be there. I used to be a kid who loved the police and loved the uniforms. I watched all the TV shows. But then I saw the brutality that's going on. And now I think it's a much more of a horrible crime for a police officer to kill a citizen, the people that they work for, innocent citizens with nothing in their hands. You know, I don't need some sort of Inspector Clouseau to figure that out. You know, that a person with empty hands is innocent. And when you murder that person, you're taking away their rights to a legitimate rights to be judged by their fellow citizens in a court of law. You can't be the judge and the jury. We're not going to let you. And we're just regular citizens. I was just a regular citizen. I drove a truck. I was a blue-collar man. I drove a truck for years. I worked in offices. I did all kinds of jobs. I'm nobody special. I'm not a hero. I don't want to be a hero. I want to be a citizen, and I will be a citizen until the day I die. You can't take that from me. No confinement can take being a citizen away from me. In the history of man, there have been more ordinary people on the face of this earth than any other kind of people. And that's just fine, because ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Extraordinary things. And we can get rid of police brutality. So, it's my opinion that instead of standing around your buddies watching them kick or maim some innocent human being, that you slap some cuffs on them and take them in and get used to that and do that until it doesn't need to be done anymore, and then you'll have earned $100,000 a year. But not until then. I'm done, Your Honor.